We are live. Welcome to December 14th. We got 10 more days before Christmas. Welcome. Welcome to Saturday on college football day. There's a lot of college football going on. Well, I think there is. I think that's Army versus Navy historical game today or something like that. That wasn't really I'm not too really on football and sports anymore. But we'll get into that later. Today we're going to talk about Jay Z. Jay Z's in trouble. Jay Z, Jay Z, Jay Z, Jay Z. Don't get it confused with Jesse. Get it confused with Jay Z. So Jay Z's in trouble. So. But he's not really in trouble because his fortune is still there, but I guess you could say his image is in trouble. We are like very Jay Z is a very successful person, no matter if you like him or hate him. He has more wealth than probably 99% of the people here in America. So, you know, it's basically not, if you love him, you hate him. At the end of the day, that brother's living good, but other people are not, especially the people who he had came across in his life. Um, you know, maybe this girl who accused him of, you know, maybe he did have a sexual relation. It was 24 years ago. I think he was at the beginning of his career or the right at the peak of his career at that time. I can't remember. So 24 years ago, it'd be 2000. So it was right after the late 90s. And I think he was very, very popular still then because I think Jay Z was a product of the late 90s into the zero zeros to the early millennium. But, we hear 24 years later of a acquisition or sexual allegation of sexual assault, something that's really serious. And then it's a sexual assault of a girl who was 13 at the time. So that's why it probably get the media attention because, I don't know what state it was, but no matter what, no matter what age you are, you're not supposed to be touching someone who's under the age. So, so 13. I don't think there's no states that are consensual for that number. I think Hawaii is the at 16, I believe, or maybe 17, 16 or 17. I think Hawaii is like the lowest in the whole union. So I'm not sure about that, but put that in the comments. Um, 'Cause I'm not particularly sure. I'm not saying go out and find people who are consensual at this low age. I think the consensual age is 18 or 21. I'm pretty sure at 18, if you could join the military, you could have sex with anyone you want over 18. But you still can't drink alcohol or buy alcohol at 18. But you could join the military. You could join the military at 16, I believe. So I don't know. So, but you can't. No matter what age you are, you're not supposed to have sexual relations with little kids. No matter if you're a celebrity or not, it's just wrong. No matter how much she wanted it or she wanted to be in that inner circle, but you know, this girl is probably um, you know, it probably did happen or it probably didn't happen. We don't know. We weren't there. so we can't speculate. Hopefully, these allegations are not true. And if they are, hopefully Jay-Z will admit it, and basically, hopefully, um, you know, if he is guilty of it, he should. If you do the crime, you have to do the time. So I always say that if you don't want to do the crime, or if you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. You know, that's why I always say don't do car wash crime. What is car wash crime? Car wash crime is doing stupid crimes that will put you away for a very long time. And that's mostly half of the black population of America. We do stupid stuff because I don't know. Sometimes, I know I'm not talking about Jay-Z's black people. I'm talking about the other 99% of the black people who are, you know, out there, struggling or in the hood or just being black. It's a lot of things against you already. So if you do a car wash crime, they'll put you away. The justice system is a double-edged sword for black people. It's the justice system in America is probably one of the strictest on black people because of slavery. The freedom of slavery, basically. When the slaves got their freedom, they said, "Oh man, we want to make sure they never get their freedom." So, you know, black people have it hard already. So, and sometimes they put it harder on themselves, unfortunately, because of their circumstance. You always have to remember the circumstance. And what are those circumstances? You know, um, Everything is a double. We have a double-sided justice system, basically. A double, a two society justice system just for black people. And this type of justice system is um, one basically for the other population and one for just for black people. And sometimes it doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor. People will come out and get you. And I'm not saying that these that he's guilty or innocent, but these lawyers are probably pushing his case for the money. That's what it is. No girl, because she won't get no attention if she didn't have a high profile lawyer on her behind her pushing her to do things like this. There's no way she could go out there and get like a $99 ticket lawyer and do this type of case against a big person like Jay-Z who could probably hire OJ Simpson dream team of lawyers. So Jay-Z could afford what's his name? I don't know. No, Robert Kardashian's dead. So sorry about that. God bless him. God bless Kim Kardashian's dad. But I'm saying OJ Simpson's dream team, like Barry Sheck. Who else? That guy from Harvard who's always, I forgot his name, but the guy from Harvard who, um, you're in trouble if you have that guy on, the prosecution know they're in trouble if they have that guy on his team. I forgot his name. Let me see. Let me think. Who is that guy? Um, so let me see. I would say, oh, yeah, but um, you know, I would say that she has a dream team of she has not a dream team, but Jay-Z could hire a dream team of lawyers to help him with this case. But this is bad for Jay-Z because instead of him making money and doing shows, this tarnishes his reputation, his image, his brand. Like now, um, you know, sponsors, companies don't want to work with you anymore because, well, some, you know, trouble past. Maybe it was a wild party and it just went out of hand, a lot of wild parties and, maybe his celebrityism went to his head back then and he thought he could get away with it because he was, girls just throw himself at him at that time in his life, going up, as a big time rapper, basically he was like almost Tupac size. Tupac, you know, high back then, it's the same echelon as Tupac. So he had a lot going for himself back then. Not saying that he has a lot of for himself going for himself right now, but back then he was on the rise. And that lawyer was Alan Dershowitz. You can help me on that on spelling, but Alan Dershowitz. If you have Alan D on your team, oh my gosh, you are in trouble. Alan Dershowitz. Please forgive my my English. Sometimes I can't pronounce every name in the English language, but anyhow, um, Jay-Z is Jay-Z is in trouble. You know, already basically, you don't want something from your past, especially like that, especially she was 13 at the time. It's like, oh man, now he has Beyonce and stuff. He's a married man. He has like $1 billion net worth and stuff like that. Jay-Z is in trouble. His brand is in trouble. And then Diddy is bringing him down with it. Jay-Z, brother, call me. You need some help. You need some um, you need some good publicity. That's what I would do if I was Jay-Z right now. I would say, honey, I would sit Beyonce down. I said, honey, we got to talk. These allegations are totally false. You know me, I would never done anything like that, especially someone underage like that. I would sit her down and say, hey, look, please be by my side during these tough times in our relationship. I would say something like that to Beyonce. Like, I said, baby, don't leave me. Oh, shit. I would say, baby, don't leave me. Because that'd be really bad if Beyonce leave them right now. If Beyonce, I don't think they're even married, to tell you the truth, because two rich people like that don't get married. So, but anyhow, I would sit her down and tell her the truth. I say, this never happened. Um, and hopefully you can stick behind me through thick and thin. And then I would go and do a whole bunch of community service in the Black and brown communities and women communities. I would help like so much women, like it'd be crazy. I would help the Black community. I would help the white community. I would help the women groups. I would help the lesbian groups. I would help the gay groups. I would help everybody. I would help everybody. I would help. I would try to squash that bad publicity. And some people, I don't understand why he's not out there doing that right now to squash that bad publicity. Because that bad publicity is going to hurt his brand, going to hurt his image, and going to hurt his future image and his past image. Now we have it in his head. I said, Jay-Z, what were you doing? It's like, so the allegation said that him and Diddy locked up found that girl in a room and locked the door and basically forced himself on her, and she, it's and then the allegations come out that her father don't remember picking her up. It's 24 years later. Okay, if you think about the year 2000, all the little dumb stuff that you did when you were a teenager. First of all, You're 13. When I was 13, I wouldn't know left from right, how to get places from east to west, north to south. I was still into that baby phase. That's what, the sixth or seventh grade. How does this girl get into a situation like that? I don't understand that. You're 13. You're supposed to be playing with Barbie dolls still. Correct me if I'm wrong, but no offense to playing with Barbie dolls, but for me, I was playing with my toys. I was a person who I'm still a kid. Like I still like haven't really grown up, and I'm an old person now. It's like I don't understand that. Like you're 13 years old and you're in a room with Diddy and Jay-Z, and you're 13. I you know when I was 13, I can't remember. Okay, I think you're in the sixth or seventh, maybe seventh or eighth grade. I was, first off, I didn't understand. I didn't even understand. I think you don't even have sex education until your seventh or eighth grade. And then it was just all confusing about like the whole process, like because you still barely got that arousal you know at that time. I just don't understand, like, and I know the internet was barely in the pre days back then, so, and cell phones and stuff, so I just don't understand what's going on here. You guys gonna have to help me out, because when I was 13, I was playing with Transformers in the backyard, my parents' house. I was playing with Legos. I didn't even know what a lot of this stuff was about sexual relationships until basically after college, because your parents hide that stuff from you because they don't want they want you to finish your education first and then worry about that stuff after you get set in life, basically. That's why I don't understand what's going on here. I maybe I was just slow or just in a bubble. My parents just put me in a bubble because you know, um, I didn't have all this and like relationships with a girl until maybe at the end of high school, and it only lasted for like a week, and it was just a kiss. It was nothing like, and then college, it was still hard in college. I don't know. I know girls never liked me for some reason. But yeah, until after college, like I finally got into a relationship from there. It was a real one, and I think I went to a party college, or so it wasn't that much of a party for me because I was trying to finish, because I didn't want to go back home and say, hey, you went all the way to college, you didn't even finish. That looks really bad because, college is expensive, and then it's time because you could be in the military or you could be working. So, but yeah, what is a 13-year-old doing? Especially at a party, if you really think about it, what was she doing at a party at 30? When I was 13 years old, I got invited to kids parties, like with balloons. The clown comes, or the piñata, because I'm close to Mexico. You hit the piñata. They close the blindfold you, and they give you the stick, and you're supposed to try to hit the piñata. Those are the kind of parties. And your mom is right there behind you. She's making sure everything's okay. Or outside in the car waiting, or they'll come and pick you up, or hopefully it's close to your house or something like that. It's not like 5 hours away. If I'm 5 hours away and I'm 13 years old, I'm probably dead because I don't know my way from north like to south and get on the freeway, get on the bus. You only you barely get into junior high at that age. Like I barely knew how to get to school. That's the only thing I knew was getting back and forth to school. I didn't know how to catch the bus or how to, get on an airplane. Like you're like my mama and my daddy, like I guess they must have put me in a big bubble because I didn't know any of that stuff until after college. Like I think to tell you the truth, I think I never even used a public restroom until college. I always used the restroom at home. I always timed it. Oh, I used, of course, the um, number one at school, but I never done number two at school because I always thought it was dirty. So I always wait until you got home and did number two. Excuse the TMI, but hey, my home, I was always close to home around that age. And that's what I don't understand that how, a girl at 13 years old could go 5 hours away to a celebrity party. So the only thing that, to cut to the chase, the only thing that this case has, the smoking gun will be the limo driver. I did read about the limo driver. The limo driver, um, probably was the honeypot for girls. Also, if you're the limo driver for Jay-Z or P. Diddy, you see a pretty girl, you get kudo points, because they can hire any limo driver but if you could bring in, good crop, you know, you could stick around longer. It's like, hey, Jesse was a good limo driver. He brought in these good girls, and like they did what we want to do, and it was really fun. And he keeps bringing on pretty girls because he's outside waiting and not much to do, and because he's just a driver and he's basically a pretty girl walks by. He says, "Hey, I'm Jay-Z's limo driver. We're gonna have a party. You want to come? Like, go in the limo. We're waiting for Jay-Z. As Jay-Z, when Jay-Z comes walk up and say, "Hey, Jay-Z, we got a couple girls already in there. We're like, make sure you extend my contract for another 2 years." Yeah. So, it's pretty much like that right there. We have to talk to that limo driver. Now, is the limo driver still alive? Because the limo driver could clear this all up real quick. Not her father. I could see her father maybe had problems and stuff, and maybe don't want to expose her daughter in this type of situation. He made me feel shame, so he probably didn't actually say the truth, or maybe he had a lot going on because it was 24 years ago. But 24 years ago, if you drive 5 hours out of New York City to a place that your daughter in, I think you should remember that if you're a father of, because then you will probably beat the hell out of her, especially if she's 13. She's probably going to get not suspended, grounded for life. And that should be one of the records that you should be able to, recollect or remember in your recollection or but you know what I mean. But those type of incidents probably never, I don't know, unless you have a lot going on in your life, like those type of incidents don't, you always remember back. Like, hey, like my recollection said, like, oh yeah, I do remember that. And he didn't remember that. So maybe there's holes in the story, but you never know. You might don't want to be pulled into this, his daughter, because, maybe he was a bad father. You have to give it to him. Maybe he was a bad father. It's like, hey, my kid, I was having problems myself. My kid is going out, snuck out the window. I don't want this to be on the news, so I'm going to lie about the whole case. Because actually it's 24 years ago. What are they really going to get? She's probably going to write a book, or she's going to, is the media paying her to bring down Jay-Z? There's a lot of people out there. I know there's, these lawyers that try to bring down celebrities because they can, at the end of the day, what happens? Jay-Z will probably pay for, well, there's a civil trial, and I forgot the other trial, civil and the real trial, like for, you know, uh, the state trial where you actually go to jail, or that's the people, where the people actually convict you, or the judge. I don't know how the case goes. I'm not a legal expert, so don't hold me on it. But there's two systems in the law: one for the state and the one for the, you know, for civil damages. So you could lose. Jay-Z could win against the state and say, like, and be exonerated. But when it comes to damages to that girl, that's where, it was just like the OJ trial. We all learned that. One was the state, and then one was from the families for the damages for, if you killed her or not, you brought this all upon us, so we still need some money. So OJ had to pay two times. There were two different lawsuits, and one for the state and one from a private. For but what I'm trying to say, that she could sue for personal damages, and emotional stress, because this she can't, and JC can afford it. JC, the brother's not hurting. So he probably could put a couple million to make it go away, basically. It's all right, cool. So who's next? But then, how many see in this celebrityism, Hollywood? When you become a celebrity, especially a musician, girls, especially, I know this for a fact, for rock stars, girls throw themselves at you. Uh, so I'm pretty sure Jay-Z is not as devilish as Diddy, but he's not an angel, So basically, and who is? If you have all that money, if you have all that power, if you have, girls just dropping at your feet, like, how can a man resist? Basically, you know, it's kind of true. How can a man resist of that anticipation? I think that's even in the Bible. Like, temptation is one of the things that, a lot of men fall when they get powerful. It's a temptation of, doing bad things. And Jay-Z, basically, is probably not, driving Miss Daisy or Mother Teresa. So he's in trouble. His brand is in trouble. He's in trouble with his wife, because his wife is like, hey, I don't want your garbage to be on my brand, because that's why it's kind of hard to celebrities to marry like that, because if you get in trouble, like, you bring her down too. So I expect a divorce soon, or a separation in the news from Beyonce and Jay-Z, because, Beyonce, has a brand of her own to protect. That's nice, honey, that you, have a crazy, thrill 24 years ago, but now it's come to haunt us as a married couple, and I can't have you, basically mess up my career, my brand, because of your temptation that you did 24 years ago. So expect a separation or divorce announcement soon. And they'll sneak it too, probably around Christmas Day or something like that. She'll probably announce it Christmas Day when everyone's busy, Christmas morning, or New Year's Day or New Year's Eve when everyone's asleep or hungover or ready to, um, celebrate the new year or with family and stuff like that. It's it's going to be a really really interesting time with Jay-Z. And what, like I said, the brother has to do. The brother has to basically say, "Hey, I'm here to help women, women of color, um, black men, white men, Hispanic men, Asian men, every man, one Asian woman, Asian man, white woman, Mexican man, Mexican woman, everybody, or women of, you know, women groups of domestic violence, rape groups. My pocketbook is like maybe this is going to cost him maybe $10 to $20 million, but he has hundreds of millions. He has I think him and Beyonce has like a 200 million house in Malibu. So hey, put that up. It's time to sell it. You're not in it anyway. So this time is, you don't want your brand to get a blemish on it because of this incident. Basically, and it seems like it's going to be more incidents because of Diddy. Diddy is going to take down everyone he can, basically. You know, and it's sad that it comes now. Like it's you have it so good, and um, somebody in your inner circle is gonna bring you down too. So you can tell, like, wow, everyone is not your friend and stuff like that, man. So, but yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad looking for Jay-Z right now because he's probably gonna have lawsuits upon lawsuits. I think Diddy has several dozen allegations just like this, so he's gonna be in and out of court. And this is basically all his brand. And Diddy, I heard, was kind of smart. He put all his business not in his name, but in his estate name of his family and his kids. So it's gonna his situation is probably good because um, he really knows um, corporations and how to protect your corporation. And that's what our next video should be about: how to protect your corporation from civil suits, from blemishes like this. Like, so if you sue me, it won't hurt my brand or my image because it's under a different entity and it's under a third party you know shell corporation or something like that. You'll never find out. You can't sue it because it's overseas or over abroad or something like that. So basically, it's really, really, really hard to sue, well, to get money out of Diddy. And that's what happened to OJ. I think OJ was the same way because I think the NFL, you can't go after someone's NFL pension. It's protected under some kind of special, um, you know, pension law in the United States or something like that. I don't know, but because I don't have it, so it doesn't. I just heard about it, but is basically OJ's NFL pension was not touched in that civil suit against him against I forgot their names, but Ron Goldman, the Goldman's father. Goldman's father really wanted, you know, he was really happy when OJ passed away. Like he probably had a big party because that Ron Goldman or Ron Goldman's dad was just not having it. Like he just knew that, how did his son get into this mess with, and basically, you have to think about that whole situation. Like if you think about it, OJ was loved by everyone back in the 80s. I think it's 70 or 80s. I wasn't born around that time, so I don't know. I just watch different YouTube videos of this and see historical commercials on OJ. So OJ was in a lot of Hertz commercials. He was on a movie. He was like he was a very popular football person in mainstream media. He was from USC. He was in close to New York with the Buffalo Bills. So he was in the media spotlight for many, many times. He came back to Hollywood to hang out, Hollywood people, made a lot of money, did a lot of commercials, did a lot of movies. And then he was loved by many at that time. He was loved by many. And then all of a sudden it went down. You get old, new people come along, and then your, celebrityism slightly diminish. You're not that pretty black guy with a smile that, everyone loved back in that day. But yeah, it was basically OJ was the hot throb of America culture at one point. And then, new people come along and, you're not popular anymore. And then, you get divorced, your wife, because, not saying OJ was I'm not saying Nicole too, God bless her soul, was a angel too, but, she did mother his kids and, the whole incident is just a sticky situation. And Ron Goldman's dad was just not having it. His son, he loved his son, and his son was an up and coming model. He was thinking he was a model for one of those fancy brands and stuff like that. I don't know, but he was a knockout model, and he was up and coming model in Hollywood, and just to ruin it because of of a jealousy from OJ. So you know he got involved in the wrong people. He could have, to me, he um I don't know what he was doing with Nicole. Wasn't she like, could be his mom almost? Wasn't he maybe he liked that older woman, and you know um it was a really good thrill for her for to have a younger man. And then you're OJ, you come around, you see, you're picking up your kids, and you see this young punk around your wife, your ex-wife. That doesn't I don't see how any man will take that cordially. You come around and see this young guy who used to look like, had looks like you, and when you were young, and your wife is like all over that. So the jealousy right there tells you about the whole case right there. you know and he could have easily not to get too much back into his case, but I'm just saying, you see a young guy around your ex-wife, and now you're old, and you've been running up and down the football field for 10, 15 years. I don't know how long his career was, but your knees and your back and stuff. Because OJ, he walked like that. He was like, after a while, like his injuries caught up with him, and so that's why I have trouble understanding if he could have done that double murder. Like, could he really done that double murder? Like, because OJ was old back then. Like, it wasn't, because once you play football and get tackled like that hard, like you're not fighting like you used to, like when you're at 18. And OJ got tackled really hard because he was a running back. So not saying if he was innocent or guilty, but I don't think he could have moved where he could got away with that with, so it's just hard to explain something like that. Because, I don't know if any of you guys ever played football, but especially in the NFL where you get in like they said that every hit is like being in a car accident. So OJ has been in many, many car accidents, and his body is not the same after several years like this. What happened in the 90s? I think he was a good football player in the 70s and 80s. I think I'm not sure. I wasn't in. I'm not that old, so I'm old, but not that old. So I don't know about the OJ era in football, but to for what they say he did, and for his and see that's like Mike Tyson doing something like that. We saw Mike Tyson with Jake Paul, and we saw the age come out of Mike Tyson. He wasn't the same old Mike. No matter if that boxing match was fake or real or scripted or real, Mike Tyson's age showed because he even had like he just looked like he was drained throughout the whole fight. And he still looks drained because, the guy had been in like hundreds of fights in his life other than his 50 plus wins and then his 10 losses or something like that. He's been hit many times. And like I said, in football, that's the same in boxing. One boxing match is like the equivalent of being in a severe car accident. Like, I don't know if you guys ever been in a car accident, but when you get in a car accident and when you see that shit smashing towards you and then you get messed up, like you're never the same again. So but yeah, man, it's you can hardly believe that, you know and then now Jay-Z, the whole Jay-Z incident, that the Jay-Z, um, yeah, the brother's in trouble, man. The brother's in trouble. He better put out some good publicity or just leave the United States, basically. Just leave his United States. A lot of people leave the USA. In USA, it's a place where you can make the most money in the world, have the most luxurious lifestyle. But I think it's time for Jay-Z probably just to leave the USA. So, other countries, he can live good. Yeah. Yeah. Other countries, he can live good. They don't really care about your past because so I think that's what happened to Mike Tyson. Like, Mike Tyson, basically, um, at the end when Mike Tyson got that rape charge, like I think it was a country called Barbados or some other countries were saying, hey, yeah, you can come here and live the rest of your life good. We don't arrest you or anything. We don't care. Because they want that money. They want that, that real estate agent is making money because you probably bought houses upon houses for you and your friends and your family, your entourage. You're buying food. You're helping the economy in these other smaller countries. So, and that's what the smaller countries will say. Like, hey, like especially the African nations, the African island nations, you probably be welcome. And, as long as it probably has no jurisdiction of, no jurisdiction you know, of extraditing you back to the U.S., I will go to right now if I was Jay-Z. I don't know why Diddy didn't do that. Like, if he knew he was going to get this much trouble, he should have just stayed in Bali. Because I heard his through the online airplane tracker with celebrities that right before he went back to New York and got in trouble, indicted with these charges, that he was in Bali. So it makes no sense that he came back to the U.S. for to be in jail, because that's I guess he thought he was gonna get off like on house arrest, like Hey, but the judge said, hell no. And usually, see that again. I'm pretty sure you know, if um, if Diddy was white or Jewish, he probably would have at least got house arrest right now, or you know, he wouldn't have so much publicity around him. But this is Diddy, so Diddy thought, I don't know what Diddy thought, but he was really didn't know that it was going to be this severe and punishment. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate for him and Jay-Z, but hey, that's what happens when you have money. More like, isn't that what what's his name? Biggie's famous line, more money. No, let me say it. More money, more problems. So, but anyhow, I think that ends our video today. Hopefully you guys like our content. We're going to try to come out with something every day and figure out how to, I have a couple of things on my agenda while I'm doing this, help my speech out. Um, a lot of tragic things happened to me during COVID, and I've been in a hole basically since COVID. So, and I guess I need to practice my speech for public speaking. So, what the best platform to use than YouTube for public speaking? And hopefully, I could get to network with people who come across my channel and have similar, ideas and stuff like that. You know, um, I'm in Silicon Valley in San Francisco, and basically, I was in the startup industry. I had many startups under my belt. I have what you would say, um, a very tech career off and on with the tech industry. I've done many tech jobs all the way down to help desk support, all the way up to um, software assessment. So, and basically migration projects with the government. And right now I'm just trying to find myself out there in social media land and find the next avenue in my life. It's 2025 and everyone's doing the YouTube thing, so I guess I have to do it too. But hopefully I can find that twist and make some money out of it and go from there. But anyhow, we got 10 more days until Christmas, 9, depending on what part of the world you're in. But hopefully you go get some good Christmas shopping and go from there. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Bon Appetit, and we'll see you on the next video. Ciao.